Have you ever stood in front of the ocean during a storm? I mean, really stood there and felt that vibration in your chest when the waves crash? It's terrifying, but there's this weird sense of order to it, right? Like something, or someone, is actually holding that chaos on a leash.
That is such a visceral image to start with, and it's exactly where we need to be. We're looking at a collection of texts today, specifically Psalm 65 through 70, that oscillate wildly between that majestic cosmic control and, frankly, the feeling of drowning in mud. It's a roller coaster of human emotion.
It really is. I was reading through the first section, Psalm 65, and it felt like walking through a golden field in late summer. It's almost overwhelming in its positivity. You have this image of God literally crowning the year with bounty.
Your carts overflow with abundance. That's the line that got me. It's not just enough, it's too much, in the best way. It paints this picture of a creator who doesn't just water the earth, he drenches the furrows, he levels the ridges. It's an agricultural metaphor, but it speaks to a deep psychological need we have for stability. The text talks about God silencing the roaring of the seas and the turmoil of the nations in the same breath.
That's an interesting parallel. So, the physical chaos of the ocean is equated to political or social chaos?
Exactly. And the response to both is awe. It says people in faraway places are afraid of these wonders. But then, just as you get comfortable with this image of a lush, watered, happy world, the tone shifts. We move into Psalm 66, and suddenly, the method of getting to that abundance changes. It gets hotter.
Right. The refining fire. I noticed that. It stops being about the harvest and starts being about the test.
Yes, Psalm 66 introduces this metaphor of silver. You don't get pure silver by polishing it, you get it by melting it. The text says, "You brought us into prison, you laid a burden on our backs." It even says men rode over their heads. It's brutal. It acknowledges that before you get to the place of abundance, you often have to go through fire and water.
That's a hard pill to swallow, though. It's easy to praise the God of the harvest. It's much harder to praise the God who lets you walk into a trap just to see if you can survive it.
It is, but that's the tension of faith these texts explore. It's not blind optimism. The speaker in Psalm 66 says, "I will pay my vows, which my mouth spoke when I was in distress." That implies the promise wasn't made in a cathedral, it was made in the trenches. It's a bargain made in the dark.
Speaking of the dark, we have to talk about Psalm 69, because if Psalm 65 is the mountaintop, Psalm 69 is the pit. The imagery here is claustrophobic. The waters have come up to my neck.
It's suffocating. This isn't the water enriching the earth anymore, this is floodwater meant to kill. What strikes me about Psalm 69 is the isolation. The writer talks about becoming a stranger to his own brothers, an alien to his mother's children.
That part hit me hard. It's not just physical danger, it's social death. Being the song of the drunkards. Can you imagine? Your suffering becoming the punchline at the local bar.
It's humiliation. And the reaction isn't turn the other cheek, it's raw, unfiltered anger. The writer asks for their table to become a snare, for their eyes to be darkened. It's a demand for retributive justice. We often sanitize these ancient texts, but this is a human being screaming, "This isn't fair, and I want them to pay for it."
It feels very modern, actually. We see that on social media every day, that desire for public vindication. But amidst all that venom, there's this weird pivot back to praise. How does he get there? He's drowning in mire one second and talking about pleasing God with a song the next.
I think it's because he realizes that the ox and bull, the religious rituals, aren't what matters. It's the heart connection. He says, "The humble have seen it and are glad." There's a realization that God hears the needy. It's almost as if the act of screaming out the pain is what clears the air. You can't reach the praise of Psalm 70, that urgent hurry God, without the honesty of Psalm 69.
Psalm 70 is so short, too. It feels like a breathless panic.
It's a 911 call. Make haste to help me. There's no flowery language, no theology about mountains or harvest. Just, I am poor and needy, don't delay. It balances out the cosmic scope of Psalm 67, where we talk about nations and global justice.
Right? Psalm 67 is the big picture. Let all the peoples praise you. And Psalm 70 is the micro picture. I am in trouble right now.
Precisely, and that's the beauty of this collection. It tells us that the same force that governs the harvest cycles and the justice of nations is also the recipient of your 3 o'clock a.m. panic attack. It validates the abundance, but it doesn't dismiss the mud.
That's a powerful place to land. It seems the takeaway is that you don't have to choose between being grateful for the good times and being furious about the bad ones. Both are allowed in the conversation.
Both are necessary. If you only have the harvest, you become arrogant. If you only have the flood, you become bitter. These texts invite us to hold both, the overflowing cart and the muddy pit, and find a voice in the middle.
So, whether you're standing on a mountain or sinking in the mire today, there's a script for that.
Exactly, and someone is listening. Blessings.